doors down to see if such products are sold off the shelf. Owner Steve Marotti says he never stocks them after hearing about the chemicals and their effects several years ago.
That's the main reason. We don't want to promote unhealthy stuff.
So once again, those ingredients listed by the FDA are formaldehyde, formalin, and methylene glycol. Ask your hairstylist if you have any questions and check those labels. In the Mid-Wilshire District, Gordon Tokumatsu, NBC4 News.
NBC4 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news, this dangerous pursuit of burglary suspects that ended on the metro tracks in Inglewood, and you saw it all unfold right here on NBC4. Good evening again, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Colleen Williams. News Chopper 4 was overhead as this driver blew through red lights, swerving in and out and around other cars, all the while speeding. Take a look.
Time. Look at how close, right up to that pedestrian. There have been numerous close calls. Will continues to escalate right here. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but these close calls. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here's the collision. This is Brian Hurst at 71st Street, and he's still going. I can't tell you where the nearest train is, but oh my gosh. Just on the other side of this building, but again, there were possibly 3 people in the car. I'll widen out real quick, see if I can catch any other people running, but it's such good news after what we witnessed here live on our air.
And that was good news. The driver tried to hide, but he, as you can see, in an alleyway there, but police eventually caught up with him, cuffed him, and took him into custody.
Dozens of people living in Malibu say they will attend tonight's city council meeting to demand action after the Pepperdine students. NBC4's Bailey Miller joins us now from Malibu ahead of tonight's meeting. Bailey.
Yeah, so the meeting starts at 6:30 and community members are already starting to show up here. They say enough is enough. They want these crashes on PCH to stop. The mayor says this is an enforcement issue. Now he's asking the community for support to get that kind of enforcement by asking for other community leaders to come forward. So all of this began, of course, as we know, after 4 Pepperdine University students were killed after a driver lost control of his car, slamming into 3 parked cars. Those cars then struck the students who were standing on the side of the road, killing them in an area of Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu known as Dead Man's Curve. The mayor of Malibu says right now they need 2 things, CHP enforcement and speed cameras. He added the city has advocated for CHP enforcement in Sacramento for years, but the lack of CHP resources does not allow for more enforcement. Now he's asking for help from the people who live here.
We're going to need their help. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result doesn't work, all right? So right now, as opposed to the community sitting there and just complaining, they got to get behind us, whether it's calls to their elected officials, whether it's called to Gavin Newsom, whether it's calls to celebrities, but we need to raise our voices and say enough is enough.
All right, that second thing I mentioned, the mayor says they need speed cameras. As we know, recently, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, signed a bill allowing speed cameras in 5 California cities. Malibu was not on that list, but the mayor says they are working on it with Supervisor Horvath to get on that list so they can get those speed cameras. Now, as I mentioned before, that meeting here starts at 6:30. Dozens of people expected to be here to make sure their voices are heard. And coming up at 7, I will have more from those community members and more on what they think needs to be done to stop this. Reporting live here in Malibu, I'm Bailey Miller. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Bailey, we'll see you then. Meantime, homicide detectives are investigating a deadly stabbing in El Monte. Our crew at the scene spoke with a neighbor who says the daughter may have stabbed her mother. The victim's brother says the mother had custody of the daughter's 2 little girls. He says the stabbing happened during a birthday party. Police say the victim was in her early 40s and suffered several stab wounds. That suspect now under arrest.
Right now, the city of San Bernardino is hosting a community event to denounce racism. This is a live look at that event. This follows the offensive and racist remarks made during a council meeting last Wednesday. San Bernardino resident Amy Malone was there to talk with city council members about why she is against the hiring of Charles Montoya for city manager. But moments after Malone began to speak, she was interrupted by 2 other speakers who were awaiting via Zoom for their turn to talk.
Personal business.
As your name, but it's...
Go back to Africa. You don't like
I'll wait.
Wow. While you're telling me to wait,
No, I'm
you
sorry.
should be
yes, I am
appalled at
sorry.
what just
I am
happened.
sorry. That should not.